Broome, in the north of Western Australia, is paradise. But not at the petrol pump.
You just got to cop it really, haven't you?
The fuel is so expensive at the moment that traveling here for just 2 weeks, it will be easier to go 2 weeks to, Bali or South Asia.
This couple is taking on work to pay for the extra cost.
That's why we've actually stopped at Broome for a while, because we've got to recoup and try and gather some funds.
Across the nation, the problem is up in lights. Petrol prices have almost doubled in 2 years. There was a spike after Russia invaded Ukraine, restricting oil supplies. But global prices have fallen almost 15% in a month. Much of that is due to COVID lockdowns in China. There's less demand, so the supply issues are no longer forcing the price up.
If that trend is maintained over the next couple of weeks and months, then we should actually expect to see the price fall at the pump by a comparative margin.
Even though global oil prices have nosedived, it doesn't mean quick relief for petrol prices.
I think, look, by the end of the year, it's potentially possible that we move further down.
Prices here lag behind the rises and falls on the global market, and our fuel supply is largely imported from Singapore.
So the fact that we've seen these fall in prices in Singapore means that consumers here can now benefit from this fall in oil as well.
But there won't be any extension of the 22 cents a litre cut to fuel excise announced by the former government in the lead-up to its election loss.
It ends in September. Even that 6-month relief costs about $3 billion.
The stuttering world economy may have slowed down demand, taking the heat out of oil prices and other commodities like iron ore.
You know, we've seen emerging and developing markets have the slowdown already. You can look at Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Laos, but now the question is what's happening with advanced economies, and I think the slowdown is now being expected.
Some traders see a 25% fall in oil prices on recession fears.
But we still have a proportion that are suggesting that the market will remain tight and that we will see a 10% rise. So it's anyone's bet at the moment.
Fuel costs have been adding to the rising cost of living and doing business, driving inflation and the case for higher interest rates. But even with pump prices at record highs, petrol in Australia is cheap and lightly taxed. Meanwhile, the world is rushing to electrify its vehicle fleet. Norway is one of the biggest oil producers in the world, but it's banning the sale of petrol cars in the next 3 years. Over there, 3/4 of new cars sold are electric vehicles. Here, it's less than 1%, meaning Australians will be filling up at the pump for a while yet.
We're not using air conditioning and we're really just poking along, really driving totally to fuel saving.
With a long road ahead.